So I'm gonna do something a bit different. I'm gonna have some B-roll of one of my games in the background while I just talk about my recent League experience. I will say that I've fallen in and out of love with League a lot, which is pretty common, I would say. It's a very tumultuous game. Like, I think a lot of people who play games experience their highest highs and highest lows. And League is a game that kind of makes you feel both, which kind of makes it addictive. And especially for me, one of my favorite things is repetition and improvement. With League, oftentimes I haven't let myself flourish as much as I could and really strive, not strive, but flourish to be my best self. So one of the things I've been doing recently is playing League because there's no safer test ground than on a video game. You know, if there's something you want to work on, why not a game where you don't invest your own money? You just invest some time, right? And for me right now, League has been my avenue to push myself where I feel uncomfortable and see how far I can go. So, like early game, I play like a fucking maniac recently, just trying to see how far I can push the limits of Camille. And honestly, it's some of the most fun I've had in a while. And League is a game that you have to be uncomfortable to make progress. The only way really to move forward with things is to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. For example, one of my favorite characters is Camille. The only reason I can actually play Camille comes from this point in my life where Camille came out. I was really interested in her, and I thought her playstyle was really cool, and I thought I would enjoy her. I absolutely was scared shitless to play Camille. Like she was being played all the time in comp, and she just looked so fun. And I just couldn't bring myself to even put in the time to learn her. And what I did one time is in college for winter break, I literally spent all of winter break. I spammed like 70 normal games of Camille until I felt comfortable with her, and then I had the floor. And once I had the floor, I realized how intricate and precise her combos are, and how slowly refining them just felt very rewarding. So, I guess long winded is I haven't really pushed myself to my max in ranked. Like, I'll reach a goal like plat or gold or emerald, and then as soon as I reach it, I would just stop playing. And this season is the first season that I want to play until I feel like I'm stuck. And I have to I reach a plateau and I have to climb over it. And earlier in the season, when I kind of thought I should do this, I was kind of suck at P4. It's more mental than anything, I would say. I did lose like 8 games in a row, and I was like, this just doesn't. This isn't the standard I want to hold myself to. I've never lost that many games in a row, and I didn't necessarily think P4 was going to be my hardest. I can do better than P4. And one of the things I've been doing is listening to this one podcast by Coach Curtis and Nathan Mott called Broken by Concept. And I put in I'm trying to think of the word. I put in like a message just talking about the whole thing I just explained. And basically he said, who cares what champs you play? You're playing like long term, you're going to lose games. Don't be afraid of losing. And that's like something I've slowly moved away from. Where as a kid, I just felt a lot more free to just do whatever I thought was best. And if it wasn't, then it was just a learning mistake. And from there, you just tweak the plan until it works, right? But as I've gotten older, it's like I don't want to fail. Like I feel incompetent if I fail. But there's something freeing and empowering about progress, and you can't make progress without being uncomfortable and being ready to fail. So I just needed to decide on my pool, really, like who I want to play to get into ranked. And all my friends said, dude, just one trick Camille. It's like thinking like, you know what, why the fuck not? That's like something I can get behind. I know a lot of the matchups. I'm very comfortable in Camille. I like Camille. So I started playing my games of Camille. And my first block, they talk a lot about 3 blocks on the Broken by Concept podcast. I didn't know 3 blocks honestly would work for me. I was like, sometimes after work, I feel like a slug. I don't really want to play. But I did a 3 block. I think I literally lost all 3 games. It was at like 2 in the morning. I was like, let's just get it in and see what happens. It's like, well, I lost every single game. I was like, well, now I know what it's like to lose. Now I need to know what it's like to win. So that was one of the things that helped me. And the other thing was just simplifying champ select for me, not thinking about counter picks, and just I'm going to try to play Camille every single game unless it's a matchup I don't know how to work around. And doing that means I'm just thinking about, okay, these are the characters in the game. How am I going to make the best version of this game? And one of the other things I did with Camille, I've been doing with Camille, I take the same room page every game. The only thing I'll do is sometimes I'll take Shield Bash, and sometimes I'll take Demolish. So I'll take Demolish if I have no way to win lane, or I'm not playing to win lane at all. Like I'm against a Warwick, I'm not taking Shield Bash. I'm playing for like split push in the mid game, and Shen's also another one. Like if he roams with ult, I'd rather have Demolish to get more plates, put them in threat of me getting first tower. This set is the antithesis of like what I used to do. In this particular game, I picked first. He's like, oh, set's a counter to Camille. It's like, well, things are only a counter if you know how to play to the strengths of it. When you're playing set into Camille, you just use your Q range and let set pull you in if he doesn't have a target on both sides for the pull. Because if he doesn't, then you can proc passive shield. It will block his W or block his autos, and you just go for a short trade. So that's one of the adaptations I know because of Champ Mastery. Like all the time I've put into Camille has helped me get to this moment where I can go into most matchups and play for the very niche windows to just win the fights, or if it's a really poor matchup like Warwick, I know how to farm under tower and lose gracefully, so then I can at least like get to 2 items in the mid game, just go down a sideline, get some turrets. But one of the things I did for Camille is I did all research on items and build paths, because there's the standard split pusher build where you go Trinity, Ravenous Hydra, Steraks Gauge, and whatnot. You could do like a Death Dance. But one of the things I don't love about that build is you die in like 2 seconds in a team fight. So I was trying to think of another way you could do decent damage and like be able to start fights without dying. And for me, this is like the build that's like really cracked open Camille for me. You go, it's basically comparable damage early. It's Trinity Force, Titanic, And then from there, you can kind of go any direction. You can go Steraks Gauge, you can go Warmogs, you can also go Overlords if you want more damage. So what happens is you still kill squishies like as fast, but bruisers, tanks you don't kill as fast, which is fine because with all the extra health from like Warmogs or the health from Titanic, your passive shield will block a lot more damage for you, and so will Steraks Gauge when you build that. So you're still hitting nukes for like 600, 700 once you have like Overlords, but you can tank like 2,000, 3,000 more damage than you typically would on Camille, which gives you a lot of flexibility in fights, and you can either engage, you can, just front to back it more consistently. And then I kind of just locked in that build, just slam that same build, see what happens, go from there. Then, once I did that for a while, I was like, okay, now I'm understanding where this build is weak and where I need to do that more traditional Camille build. So if you're in a counter matchup, just buy Ravenous. Like if you're against Warwick, Shen, or things like that will really poke you down, just buy Ravenous because you can reset wave. Very least you can lifesteal off of the wave. And if they leave, at least you have early Tiamat, so you can just shove it and you don't necessarily have to reset. One of the things I noticed with the Titanic build is that in games where you can't team fight to win and like split push is necessary, it's a worse build. So I had a couple games where I was like trying to force inhibs or like end game 1v1. It's like, well, if it's gonna take me 5 rotations to kill them, I can't tank tower to do anything. So I had to identify those games. Since you have the flexibility generally of going Trinity first, you can then pivot with either Titanic or Ravenous based on, is my team ahead? Is this like a strong team for team fighting? But at this point, I don't have too much more to say about my process, so I'm going to turn my focus to the B-roll and talk about some of the thoughts I'm having as I'm going through this game. So I'm noticing that I have a very big skill advantage on this set, and because he's physical, I can go for Q2 under the tower and E away, and that way I don't really get retaliation damage from the tower or my opponent. The set right there completely misses his haymaker because he wasn't able to get a stun off on me. So Camille can actually interweave like almost every single ability at any point. So you can actually commit to an auto as your E is traveling. I'm trying to see if he'll stun me. I was waiting it out. He kind of just didn't go for it, so then I just went for quick Q2, stun, quick Q2, and then I was counting on ricocheting tower aggro with ult if I needed. I was really trying to push a tempo here because our team was behind on feats, so I was trying to see if I can get first tower while they have their entire team bot side, and then me getting that early first tower top secured feats for us. And one other thing that I've been doing in my games is just looking at tab frequently, trying to see who's strong on my team, who's strong on enemy team. If we're behind, then I'm going to try to push the tempo a little bit more where I know I can. And if we're ahead, I'm just going to make sure I get close to 10 CS per minute in an easier matchup. I've also really been trying to do coal early, like farm for 400 some gold, get coal, because a lot of the bruiser items cost way too much. Most of the bruiser items are, 3,300, and other champs have items that cost, some of the mages, they'll have items that are 2,600. Some will be, 3,000. So trying to just jump start your spike a little bit sooner. One of the things that's great about getting team out of Camille is she's such a great roamer. It opens up for plays. So just trying to use your tempo advantage with the wave clear to just get around and try to do stuff. So, segueing mid push into top here, get that quick kill onto Set. And with Set dead and me still having ult, I still want to fight because I should be able to guarantee a kill so long as I can get my ults off. There's a lot of people bot, so this objective is pretty much guaranteed. So I'll just look to shove here. There's one dead and there's 3 showing, so there's only one person who can answer me. And right now I should be able to kill anyone 1v1. So I'm just looking to run and shove this wave in. And here I'm trying to figure out, whether I need mercs or tabbies this game. I do like tabbies generally as a slam item for top because it gets you armor so you can dive more consistently, and also okay, so here I know I can just E to the wall, so I'm just trying to see if Set would do anything dumb, and he wastes his flash there thinking he can kill me, and I wasn't scared at all because I knew that they still had people on their reset, so they would be much further behind Set there. So for this game, since I'm far ahead and they don't have any percent health damage, I'm just gonna go for that Titanic route that I talked about. So really trying to, whew, a lot of damage. That's one of the other things that I do like about this build is if you do Warmogs third, if you do a trade like that where you nearly kill someone and you almost die, you can just stay on map and then pressure the next person. In the grand scheme, it doesn't change too much because I got Ezreal to flash and I need to probably recall for top wave anyways. One of the things that's kind of weird about using Titanic is Ravenous and Standard Tiamat. You clear fastest by being in the middle of the wave. Once you get Titanic, you clear fastest by being in front of the melee minions. So looking at that map here, 1 bot, 2 mid, Dragon is almost up. I really want to try to pull Set to this. So I'm trying to get to Drag, but get to it late because I don't necessarily want to start the fight. I want to pull someone there. So running out to base. Now Set's matching top wave. I don't think he has TP. Looks like they're really trying to fight for mid prio. Whenever you want to get objective, like mid or bot, I mean, if you're trying to get Dragon, for example, you want to push mid and bot. That way you can have a track into the fight either from bot side river, mid side river, and if the enemy has to walk to you, unless they walk through their jungle, you're going to see their route. So here, was thinking about going in, but Shaco boxes kind of just make it really difficult. And here, I get absolutely fucked because I forgot about the box and then Set just ults me into their team. So at this point, I'm thinking, wow, we had all of our team there wanting to fight, ready to fight, and all I did was die for free. If I sat top, I would have chunk Set, taken top tier 2, probably made someone reset while I go for inhib, and the value of that play from me was really bad. So I'm thinking, fuck it. Let me get Titanic, let me get Steraks, and then I'll look to fight, because I don't want to keep dying like that in fights, because they have a decent amount of CC with the Shaco and Mel. I was already winning side. I should just shove the advantage I had this game into the Set's face because team fighting is not consistent. And this is one of the things that really annoys me when I'm trying to split push. Unless I'm calling for a play in my lane, please just let me farm. Because all you did was you showed 3 bot while Otacon stopped. And now we lose Otacon. I had TP, so I could have came up to that play if you were there. But instead, this is what we're left with. A free Otacon giveaway and some tower damage bot from Herald. So one of the things that I really want, this is one of my learning objectives. Yeah, it sounds kind of silly to say that, but I really want to, I have all these thoughts when I'm playing. I just don't always communicate it with my team with pings. Like, I should have been telling them, get out of my lane. But I'm just like, oh, this is so dumb. Why are they here? And just kind of like internally cringing. So trying to make use. Camille Q2 does a lot of damage, so it's pretty easy to take jungle camps with her. And tempo lines, this is a concept that I think I heard from Coach Rogue on YouTube. Basically, say your entire team's at tier. So here I was thinking about Mel, but if you're going to camp in a bush thinking about a play, just constantly recall and cancel it. That way, if it's shady and you don't want in, you can just complete the recall because you already started, like, say, 6 seconds ago. But back on to that one thing I said about tempo lines. Basically, imagine like your entire team's at tier 1 turrets. That means if you walk to like tier 2 turrets, your neck is kind of out there. It's like sitting on the guillotine. So you have to be really thought conscientious about how you're going to do things. So this was a really bad play. I thought, oh, I have second item. Maybe I can make a play happen. I kind of fucking overforced it because I E'd into Fog and Orianna wasn't even there. And then I don't know what Kane did. So what I will say about this game is it's not the prettiest, but I am proud of it because I was able to adapt in the game. I kind of made 2 bad plays in a row where I was trying to fight with my team, where I was just kind of overforcing. And then from this point onward, I think I just make more conscientious choices to try to avoid the team fight or just go for picks where I had better vision. So after that went completely shot, I was like, okay, we're just going to go for the 1v1. And here, I know he's going to do that. Haymaker, so just E away from it, use E2 as a re-engage. I know I'm going to win this. It doesn't matter what he does. His WCD is a lot longer than all the rest of my cooldowns. So once I avoid the first one, just go all in this matchup, there's not much Set can do after he uses first W. Especially in this matchup, he has to do his stun into Haymaker, because if he doesn't, either you Q it and you reduce the Haymaker damage by 20% of your max health, or you ult it and then you completely dodge it, or you Q him with no passive shield and then you dodge it anyways. So you have 3 outs for his Haymaker. So he has to land the perfect stun into the big punch. So now that I've shoved top, I'm just trying to get my health back so then I'm ready for a play. As soon as I have top pushed out, I'm going to bot so then I can keep soaking waves. And also, I don't have TP here, so if I'm here trying to get bot prio to make this dragon easier, I'm already going to be next to the play. Set will have to TP because he's still on that top wave. So Mel's really pushed here, and I have Trist here, so I ping it. You know, let her extra damage help me. Unfortunately, she didn't dodge a single ability, so she dies to Mel. But with my E, I'm also able to lock down Shaco. And here, there's pretty much no reason for me to stay. Aside from potentially zoning out Ezreal Braum, I was thinking about hovering for top and making sure Set doesn't get tier 3 but Ori spawned. So I'm just going to trust her wave clear here and just make sure that Ezreal Braum doesn't walk over. And now that it's confirmed that they're not walking over, I notice we have a really good flank angle to try to get another kill here. And this could segue us into Baron. It depends on the timers and everything. It looks like Set was camping here. And then I didn't have ult. I didn't have ult to dodge it, but my team was close enough to follow up anyways, and we get 3 kills here. and I finished my Steraks, so now I should be able to do a lot more dive plays and not really worry about, getting caught out by set Haymaker. Steraks is a really big spike into the things like Darius, Garen, Set, because it gives you one more failsafe against their big hitting ability, because Steraks' shield will almost always fully block Set W. So here I'm looking at the waves. All three waves of ours are pushed in. That's like the worst time to try to do Baron. Like, sure, they were dead, but they literally walked around until everyone respawned. So we have to get these waves out. That way we can start contesting without just bleeding resources in different lanes. And then one thing that helps with Titanic wave clear, if you hold the active until all the ranged minions are in, you can just one-shot the ranged minions usually. So I'm just trying to ward it and stay in vision in case Kane wants to go for a smite seal. I don't really want to go in. Or is really far away, and so is the rest of our team. So I'm looking to where he's pathing and just trying to cover an option, see if we can make a turn play, and then she really oversteps. And this time I have ult, so just a dodge set Haymaker, get him killed, and I'm probably going to reset here, look for bot wave, and then I can TP in if there's a subsequent play. So Kane's just been fighting the whole time. Maybe I could have stayed to help him here. Maybe that was a bit of a mistake. I do like to do Warmogs earlier, but against Set, I just wanted one more failsafe against Hellmaker. That way I can save ult for getting picks instead of just dodging Set W. And then also Warmogs would have been helpful against the poke from Mel. But I was so strong this game with kills and farm. I am constantly sitting at like 7 CS per minute or more. I figured I should just try to slam my gold lead by going Overlords for more AD. I really want to just push the pace of this. Set's in the gutter. I just need to get a couple picks, and then we can probably come really close to ending the game. Set went Hullbreaker, which is a terrible choice. If you're losing side lane, please do not buy Hullbreaker. All it does is make you continue to lose side lane, and then you put all your gold into side laning. Then I noticed this fight happening after I was pushing top. I didn't know whether or not I should TP for this. I was just like, okay, well, fucking remember, the last 3 times you joined a fight, it went absolutely horrendous. So I just said, fuck it. And then I just stayed in side lane. I was like, they will come to me. If they don't, I'm taking their inhib because I'm sick of team fighting and then it going nowhere. So I get set to reset here. And I probably would have went for a risky tower play. But I was just thinking, I think it's just more consistent. Buy the 4th item and go from there. But then I'm just kind of looking at it. I'm like, I don't know where their team is, but I could definitely cheese someone in side lane. So I just camp this bush, cancel my recall once it gets close. I'm trying to see if someone will come to side. And if they come to the side and there's a lot of people like mid or bot, then I'll just go and lock in this 1v1. Because I'm waiting for my team to push out anyways. I can't really go forward, so I might as well see if there's a good 1v1 opportunity. So I go for it. I think what happens is Shaco is topside. And if I had the item, I would have definitely just killed Set. Because that fight was way too close. So I kind of fucked up there by staying. I had such a guaranteed lock-in with that 4th item. There's no need for me to stay there that long just for a chance to get a 1v1 kill. Because we just didn't really have sufficient pressure. I mean, Tristana Lulu did get a tower on the other side of the map, but me being dead for 50 seconds could be the piece that breaks the camel's back. So now that I'm up, walking around, preemptively TPing, Kane gets a huge knock up here. So I Q the minion, get my Q2 prepped, land the Q2 onto Braum, and now our issue is our waves being... it's just so far behind. But with all those kills, we just go straight Baron. I decide not to do Baron. This is one thing that really annoys me, is if there's 4 dead, just trust your team to kill Baron. Go push away, because look, Ori came from base, she went straight to Baron, and he's like, oh, Baron's dead, and then she starts to try to walk to mid. So it was just complete waste of her time to do that. And now that, since I've been pushing, I'm already on tier 3, dies instantly, now we can just leave. The moment you get like inhib or inhib tower, if it's early, just immediately leave that way. You aren't overstaying and you're not wasting your time. Like my team here, they should have went immediately top because it's next to Baron and we already had mid shoved into their base. But instead they walked all the way mid. Oh, the wave's dead, and now they're walking bot. They could be here with me right here, right now, and we could shove in tier 3 tower, take this while Shaco's dead. But instead I have to play reserved, take a couple waves, counter jungle, try to get that Warmog spike, and then go from there. And now that... look at all the time that my team has wasted with this Baron. Like, they walked from Baron to mid to bot to jungle, then recall. My Baron's almost halfway up, and with the exception of Ori, the only thing my team has done is walk around with Baron and get some neutral camps. You want to be on the waves, empowering the minions so they can help you take those towers. So now that I have my 5th item spike, I'm looking to just E and whoever, do some damage, walk away. Because I'll heal to full, and then after I do roughly half their health, if they're not Braum or set, we just absolutely go hog wild. So double hex gates gets me towards this fight. I'll look for a good angle on a squishy when they're distracted, get a half health Mel, wait out her passive shield, Q2 does 500 damage, just run at Ezreal. I have E2 coming up, and from here we just run into their base. So that's my new style. Play calm, collected, trust my champion mastery, and then wait for self-assured victory.